Good morning students. Welcome to the video lecturing on BSc 3rd Sem Mathematics on the topic groups. Today let us study about the necessary and sufficient condition for a subgroup. Let us take one theorem. A non-empty subset H of a group G is a subgroup of G if and only if A, B belongs to H implies AB inverse belongs to H. So this is the necessary and sufficient condition for a function for a subset H to be a subgroup. So we know that the definition of a subgroup is a non-empty subset H of a group G is said to be a subgroup if it satisfies all four laws of a group. That is, it should satisfy closure law, associative, identity and existence of inverse in the set G. So here the necessary and sufficient condition for a subgroup means here if it satisfies only this condition, if A, B belongs to H, A into B inverse belongs to H implies the given non-empty subset H is a subgroup. This is the necessary and sufficient condition. Let us prove this. Suppose here it is if and only if means we have to prove it in two ways. First we have to assume that H is a subgroup, then it satisfies AB inverse belongs to H. And conversely, you have to take for all A, B belongs to H, AB inverse belongs to H implies H is a subgroup. First let us assume that the first condition H is a subgroup, then you have to prove that it satisfies this condition. Suppose that H is a subgroup of G. So we know that since H is a subgroup under the binary operation defined in G, then we have here it satisfies all four laws, that is closure, associative, existence of inverse. So here let us take inverse. For any B belongs to H, we have B inverse also belongs to H because here H is a subgroup, so it satisfies inverse law. And for any element A belongs to H, and here we have every element B belongs to H has inverse, B inverse also belongs to H. This implies here AB inverse is also belongs to H because it is the closure law. That is, if A, B belongs to H, AB is also belongs to H. This is the property of the group, that is the closure law. Since H is a subgroup, it also satisfies closure law. So this implies here if A belongs to H, B inverse belongs to H, AB inverse is also belongs to H. So this implies A, B belongs to H implies AB inverse is also belongs to H. So this is one way we have proved here. First we have assumed that H is a subgroup and we proved that for all A, B belongs to H, AB inverse is also belongs to H. Now you have to prove this one in the converse way. Suppose now conversely, suppose that you have to take this condition A, B belongs to H, then this implies AB inverse is also belongs to H. Take this one as equation number 1. So what you have to prove is here, you have to prove that here if it satisfies this condition, then you have to prove that H is a subgroup. Subgroup means again you have to prove that all four conditions should satisfy. So here this implies for A belongs to H, let us take A also belongs to H, let us take this one 2 times. Then this implies according to this, here we have taken here for all A, B belongs to H, AB inverse belongs to H, we have taken this condition. So use the same condition here, A belongs to H and instead of B we can take once again A only, A belongs to H. It is like A, A belongs to H. This implies here according to this it is A into A inverse belongs to H. So that is here replacing B by A in this. We know A into A inverse is E. This implies here E inverse belongs to H. So means here that is the entity element exists in H. E belongs to H means entity element exists in H. And also we have here since E belongs to H and we know A also belongs to H. Then this implies again this property. If A, B belongs to H, we know AB inverse belongs to H. So here E into A inverse, just you replace B by A inverse here belongs to H. And we know E into A inverse is equals to A inverse. This implies here A inverse also belongs to H. So thus every element of H, this is what here, this is the inverse. Thus every element of H has an inverse. since H is a subgroup of G, the closure law and associative laws are satisfied in H also. So thus here H satisfies all four laws, that is closure and associative, and we have proved existence of inverse and existence of identity also. Thus H is a group under the binary operation defined in G. This implies here H is a subgroup of G. So this is the necessary and sufficient condition for a subgroup for a subset H to be a subgroup. That is here if A comma B belongs to H, AB inverse is also belongs to H. This is the necessary and sufficient condition for a subset H to be a subgroup. That is here for all A comma B belongs to H, AB inverse is also belongs to H. If you prove this one, then it is enough to prove that here H is a subgroup. Let us take one more theorem. So these are the properties of a subgroup. Take one more theorem. The intersection of two subgroups is also a subgroup. Let us take here proof. Let us take two subgroups. Let H1 and H2 be two subgroups of G. Since H1 is a subgroup, we have here just now we proved for A belongs to H1 and B belongs to H1, AB inverse belongs to H1. This is the necessary and sufficient condition for a subset H to be a subgroup. Just now we proved in the theorem 1. So since again here H2 is a subgroup, we have again A belongs to H2 and B belongs to H2. This implies AB inverse is also belongs to H2. Take this one as second equation. So now we have here since A belongs to H1 and A belongs to H2. This implies here A belongs to H1 intersection H2 because it implies both. It belongs both here. A is an element of H1 and B is A is also element of H2. This implies here this is an element of intersection of these two. Now B belongs to H1. Again here also we have here B belongs to H1 and B also belongs to H2. This implies here B belongs to H1 intersection H2. So let us take these two as here AB inverse belongs to H1 and AB inverse belongs to H2. These two as equations 1 and 2. So from these two we can say that here AB inverse belongs to H1 and AB inverse belongs to H2. This implies AB inverse belongs to H1 intersection H2. So that is here we have here this A comma B belongs to H1 intersection H2, B belongs to H1 intersection S2. This implies here A comma B belongs to H1 intersection S2. Then AB inverse belongs to H1 intersection H2. So hence by this previous theorem we have here H1 intersection H2 is also a subgroup of G. So here this implies here we have taken here H1 and H2 are two subgroups and we proved here their intersection H1 and H1 intersection H2 is also a subgroup of G. So this is the proof of intersection of two subgroup is again a subgroup. Let us take one note here. The union of two subgroups of G need not be a subgroup of G. Sometimes it may happens, it may satisfy and sometimes it may not satisfy. This we prove using one more. Take one more theorem. The union of two subgroup is a subgroup if and only if one is contained in the other. That is, the union of two subgroup is always not a subgroup. It is satisfies only when if one group is contained in the another group. That is, one group is the subset of the other group. Let us take here two subgroups. Let H1 and H2 be two subgroups of G. First, suppose that here H1 is contained in H2 or H2 is contained in H1. That is here H1 and H2 are subsets of each other. That is one is contained in the other. So then here union of these two, H1 union H2 is equals to H2 or H1 because here H1 is contained in H2 means all the elements of H1 are in the elements of H2, or H2 is contained in H1 means here all the elements of H2 are in H1. So this implies here their union is either H1 or H2 because here one is contained in other. Since H1 and H2 are subgroups, then this implies here H1 union H2 is a subgroup because here they are the subgroups and one is contained in the another. Therefore we can say that here if H1 is contained in H2, we know that H1 union H2 is equals to H2 or H1. Since H1 and H2 are subgroups, therefore we can say that H1 union H2 is also a subgroup. So first part is over. Let us take conversely here. Conversely, suppose H1 union H2 is a subgroup. We have to prove that here either H1 is contained in H2 or H2 is contained in H1. This you have to prove. If H1 union H2 is a subgroup, then you have to prove either H1 is in H2 or H2 is in H1. Suppose let us assume that here, if possible, H1 is not contained in H2 and H2 is not contained in H1. Means they are not the subsets of each other. Suppose here now H1 is not contained in H2. H1 is not contained in H2 means here H1 is not contained in H2 means here H1 contains at least one element which is not in H2. We know here suppose contained means the meaning of contained is here. Suppose we have one set here A is equals to, let us take H1 only here. Let us take A equals to here. Let us take one set A which contains only two elements A, B. And let us take this one more set B which contains three elements A, B, C. Then this implies here A is contained in B. Means here the elements of A, the elements of set A are A, B and elements of set B are A, B, C. Here the set A is contained in set B means here all the elements of set A are in set B. So this is the meaning of contained. Here A is contained in B and B is not contained in A because here the elements of B are A, B, C. These are all not in set A. This is the meaning of contained. So suppose what we have taken here as, here we have assumed that here suppose H1 is not contained in H2. H1 is not contained in H2 means there exists at least one element in H1. S belongs to H1 and S does not belongs to H2. Like here what I have explained. So here B is not contained in A means there exists at least one element in B which is not in A. The same thing here we have. So there exists at least one element S belongs to H1 such that here S is not in H2. And similarly H2 is not contained in H1 means there exists at least one element in H2. There exists a T belongs to H2 and T is not in H1. So from these two equations we can say that here from equation 1 and 2 we have here S belongs to H1 union H2. So you know the meaning of union. So union means combination, combined set of these two. That is here I told you here this is, let us take here two sets A and B we have here. Now A union B means here A union B means it contains either A or B or whole the set A, B, C. It is A, B, C. So union means here it contains S belongs to H1 union H2 and T is also belongs to H1 union H2 because here T is in H2 not in H1 but it belongs to union of these two. Since H1 union H2 is a subgroup we have so let us take their closure operation S into T is equals to some element K which is belongs to H1 union H2 because here this is the closure law we have proved here. If A comma B belongs to H, A into B is also belongs to H. This is the closure law of a subgroup. So H1 union H2 is a subgroup. So S into T is also belongs to H1 union H2. And this implies here S into T equals to, we have taken this one as K which belongs to union means it belongs to either H1 or H2 or both. Suppose S into T is equals to K which belongs to H1. And this implies here, this implies T is equal to, this is the property we proved here. If you take S in this, it becomes inverse. This implies T is equal to S inverse K which also belongs to H1. So thus this contradicts equation number 2. That is here from equation 2 what we have here, we have seen that T is not an element of H1. But lastly what we proved here, T belongs to H1. This contradicts our fact that here H1 and H2, H1 is not contained in H2 and H2 is not contained in H1. This is our assumption. H1 contained in H2 and H2 contained in H1 is wrong. Thus, this implies here either H1 is contained in H2 or H2 is contained in H1. So thus, the union of two subgroups H1 and H2 is again a subgroup if and only if one is contained in another. That is, if H1 and H2 are subgroups, their union H1 union H2 is also a subgroup only when H1 is contained in H2 and H2 is contained in H1. This is the proof of this theorem.